The Phantom is an iconic pulp comic hero predating both Superman and Batman. In 1936, Lee Falk created the fictional costume crime fighter whose base of operations is in the fictional African country of Bengala. The role of the Phantom has been passed on from father to son since the 16th century, leading the world to believe that the Phantom is a single, immortal individual, the ghost who walks. Throughout its history, the Phantom has appeared in several forms of media, including print, video games, television, and movies, most notably the 1996 film starring Billy Zane, which gained mixed reviews from critics. What the hell do they know, right? I thought the movie was cool and stayed true to the character, which so many times Hollywood films tend to stray away from. There was also a real shitty Sci-Fi Channel miniseries a few years ago, which isn't even worth talking about. You can Google it and try not to vomit. If you're a fan of MTV's Liquid Television back in the day, there was a cool animated serial called Aeon Flux. The creator of the animated series also helped develop an animated syndicated Phantom series called Phantom 2040 in 1994. It aired for 2 seasons and it's super cool, so give it a try. My introduction to the Phantom, like so many kids in the 80s, was from the Defenders of the Earth cartoon. It was a syndicated animated series released in 1986, and it featured a super team made up of classic pulp heroes Flash Gordon, Mandrake the Magician, his bodyguard Lothar, and of course the Phantom. The series supported a short-run toy line by Galoob, and I had a few of the figures, with the Phantom being the first one I got. A few months back, NECA announced it was doing a line of Defenders of the Earth figures in the popular 1/12 action figure form. I was super stoked. But however, the downside of something cool coming out is everyone wants it and scalpers want it more so they can get their grubby hands on these limited figures and rape us all in the aftermarket, which seems to be more and more common these days. And it's only been exacerbated by the pandemic. It's mind-numbing. So I went on a long hunt for the Phantom figure because he was the figure I wanted. I never found him, so I caved and paid a scalper for him. Luckily, I got him for around $10 over MSRP. And I'm glad I got him, but I'm disappointed I didn't find him in the wild. But if this situation is anything like my search for Mego Ultraman, it will probably show up on a store shelf a year from now, because I just found Mego Ultraman in the wild at Meijer last weekend for $12.99. I paid around $20 for him on the aftermarket. My heart sunk. Anyways, I'll probably find the Phantom at some point in the wild, and I'll chuckle in pain. So anyways, here's my review of this figure. I'm excited to have him. So without further ado, we'll take him back to the shop, and I'll do my review of my NECA Defenders of the Earth Phantom figure. Alright guys, well here he is in the package. This is the NECA Phantom figure from their Defenders of the Earth line. You can see the package is really, really nice actually. I like how they took the NECA logo and did it in the old Galoob style font. But just as a nice simple box. You can see on the back they've got a little bit of the bio of the Phantom, production info, and all the original characters, Lothar, Mandrake the Magician, Flash Gordon, the Phantom, and of course Ming the Merciless from the original Defenders of the Earth cartoon and action figure line in 1986. Yeah, like I said, a nice package, cool retro styling. I actually damaged the package a little bit when I tried to open him, like a numbskull, but that's okay, it's mine, so it really doesn't matter. So, I really dig what NECA's doing and some of these other companies like Super 7 by taking old 80s properties and kind of reviving them in the modern style action figures that we all kind of like. I know that the 1/12 style figures are pretty hot right now. You know, with the Marvel Legends line, the Star Wars Black series, and the G.I. Joe Classified series of figures, along with some of the other smaller boutique type toys like Bobby's Action Force, which those are really cool looking figures as well. And then, you know, you've got the 1/18 scale figures from the Vitruvian Hacks line, as well as the Eagle Force launch. But a lot of toy companies now are starting to revive 80s properties and giving them the treatment that they probably deserve, especially nowadays with the technology and access to better materials and better action figure design. And of course this figure here is no exception because it's a great figure. And like I said, I love what NECA's doing. They make a lot of cool figures, and their Defenders of the Earth line is it's really exciting to see this. So we'll get him out of the package and talk about him a bit. All right, so here he is, guys. The figure stands a little over 7 inches tall. Just at 7 inches tall, actually. It's a nicely made figure. The paint scheme's really cool on it. Like with a lot of the figures nowadays, these 1/12 line, it comes with variations of the hands. You can't really see these very well. He also comes with his Defenders of the Earth pistol, very similar to the one that came with the figures back in the 80s. And this little creature here, probably just leave all this. I tend to leave all this in the package because I display these at my desk at work. But obviously, these two plastic light deals fit apparently with his rings, I guess. Anyways, it comes with these extra accessories, which are pretty cool. So when I took this guy out of the package and looked him over, there's a few things I noticed, and this has been the case with a lot of these figures that I've got lately. When they get these painted and pack them, I don't know if you guys have had this issue, but the joints tend to stick on these figures, and it bothers me quite a bit. Case in point, the elbow here is sticking, and I got it to finally break loose, and it took off some of the paint. I'm not a big fan of that because I've noticed a lot of these joints are starting to be very tight on these figures, and I don't know if they're rushing them through production. But the issue with that is if you start to mess with these, as you can see the same thing here, right? So that paint's came off there. If you start to mess with these too much, you might break the joint. And these are sometimes $20 to $30 figures, and that's not cool. I don't know, like you can see here, this is very tight here at his torso, and I don't like that very much about these figures, because if you start to work them, like I said, you can put a lot of stress on this plastic, and I know it's not a very rigid plastic, and it kind of has a little bit of flexibility, but you still put tension and compression on areas that maybe aren't very strong. So that's the first thing I noticed about this figure, and that's the first thing I don't like about this figure, is the fact that the joints are too tight. I've had that issue with a couple Super 7 figures, and I'm I don't want to be too heavy-handed with them, so I'm very apprehensive to work the joints too much, because for what you pay for these, you don't want to snap them, because there's no like warranty you send in to get the figures replaced. I mean, once you buy it, you buy it. So that's something about this guy that right off the bat I do not like. I'm very, very cautious to mess with him too much, for I don't want to break him, because I think the MSRP on these is around $20-25, and I paid $40 for him. So, which is similar to the price you pay for an actual Super 7 style figure. These were supposed to be available at Walmart, among other retailers, according to NECA's Instagram site. I haven't seen these anywhere except on scalper sites and some of the regular toy sites like Big Bad Toy Store, among others. So that's the first thing about this guy that I really don't like. I don't like the tightness of the joints. The figure itself is highly detailed. I love the sculpt of the face. Very chiseled, very heroic looking. I love the color scheme of the purple, and I actually like the fact that they used the actual style of the original Defenders of the Earth Phantom, his trunks. Sometimes he's got a set of black and blue trunks in a chevron style, but this is cool. Overall it's a great sculpt. The figure's very, very well sculpted. Very true to form for a Phantom style figure. I know that there's a Vitruvian Hero Hacks, or the Hero Hacks, people that make those. Boss Fight Studios is doing a smaller, like a 3 3/4 version of the Phantom figure that's really, really cool. I'll post a link to it in the description below in case you're interested in a figure that's about half the price. I wanted this figure because I thought he was really cool when he first came out. I saw a really cool promo photo shot on Instagram from NECA for this guy. It was actually him fighting their... Zoom in a little bit on him here. It was actually them fighting... They had this figure fighting their King Kong figure, which I thought was really cool. Because if you're familiar with the Phantom comic, he does a lot of stuff in the jungle, and I thought that was just a neat photo. I wish I could share it with you guys, but I don't think NECA would let me on YouTube. I really don't know, but definitely check out their Instagram page. You can find that photo. So, other than the joints being tight, it's got a pretty neat amount of accessories. I wish he had a sword, but I don't think the original Defenders of the Earth figure had a sword either, so NECA, of course, stayed true to that original Galoob design, which I'm fine with. I think he's, of the figures in the line, Mandrake, Lothar, Flash Gordon, and Ming, I think this is probably my favorite figure, and this will probably be the only figure that I get. I'm half tempted to get Flash Gordon because I'm a huge Flash Gordon fan. But I like the figure. I think I overpaid for him now that I know what the joints are. A little too tight. I don't have any buyer's remorse, but I know that he's just going to be a glorified mannequin on my desk. I'm not going to mess with him too much because I hate to break stuff, and it's kind of worthless after I break it because this stuff's really hard to fix. So it is what it is. I really enjoy it, though. I think it's cool. I'm glad I found it. I hope that I don't end up finding this at Walmart here soon on the shelf for about half the price I paid for it. If I did, I probably would buy another one and then try to loosen the joints on this one or whatnot. In case I broke it, I'd have an extra, even though it seems kind of frivolous and a waste of money. I don't see any other recourse for me. I would definitely get another one if I saw it in the wild at Walmart. But as far as buying this figure, I would hold out and wait and look and see if the shelves start kind of trickling with product here soon this summer or maybe this fall, that these actually hit the store shelves and you'll be able to get it for the price it was supposed to be listed at instead of paying hackers or scalpers. I'm not a big fan of paying scalpers for anything. I just don't support that kind of stuff very much, even though I've bought some stuff lately. Probably because I'm not patient. As far as the figure, I'd give it on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it, as far as like detail, 10. Quality, a 7. Posability, about a 3 right now. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate this figure about a 7.5. Like I said, I would not overpay for this figure. Even though it's really cool looking, I would not spend more than $30 on one of these, considering the joint issues. And I'm pretty sure it's like that with a lot of them. But, it's up to you. You be the judge. I mean, if you could watch other reviews on YouTube where guys are probably going to tell you how great this is. Maybe NECA's, I know a lot of these guys that do reviews on YouTube. They actually have the toy stores or the toy manufacturers send them figures to review, so they always give them a great positive review. I'm not that. I'm going to give you the truth on some of these, and I think the joint issues with this is a little irritating. I'm not happy with it, especially when the paint comes off. So I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, though. I'm excited to have this figure in my collection. I don't want you to think I'm disappointed in it. There's a few things I don't really like about it. Overall, it's a cool figure, even though I overpaid for it. So that's about it, guys. Like and subscribe to the page. Share the videos. Hit the notification icon. I've got some cool G.I. Joe content coming soon. I hope you guys have enjoyed some of the stuff I've posted since I've been back. And until next time, cheers.